150 alligators. This is our breeding pond. For every one male alligator, there's at least 5 to 7 females. The reason for that, one male alligator can cover several different females throughout the entire mating season. Male alligators are also very territorial. In order for us to reduce the fights between the males, we have to minimize the amount of males that go into the pond. And just by looking at the alligators, if you're trying to find the difference between a male and a female, the easiest way to tell the alligators apart is going to be the size. Male alligators get much bigger than female alligators. The ones that you see in here that look way bigger than the others, those are your males. So that big guy under the tree over there, that is a male for sure. This one here, maybe, that might be a male. I'm not 100% sure on that. Just because there's a good sized alligator, but male alligators, their heads and snouts are a little bit more broader, and their jowl muscles get a little bit bigger as well too. So that might be a male, but I'm not sure on that one. And just by looking at them, that's the only way to tell them apart. The size. And today I'm going to be using rats. These are farm-raised rats. We just get them in a bag frozen and we thaw them out, feed them to the alligators. But we like to use rats because the alligator can fully digest the rat and the bones with no problem. Rat bones are a good source of calcium. Alligators need a good source of calcium so they can grow back their teeth. Every time an alligator loses a tooth, they're going to grow back another one, and it only takes a couple days for that new tooth to start growing back. Also, alligators do not chew their food. They do not have molars to chew. The teeth of the alligator mainly used for gripping down on their prey, crushing bones, piercing their prey, so they do not chew their food. Then you're probably wondering if one small bucket of rats is going to be enough to feed all of these alligators. It is not. Alligators are cold-blooded animals. They do not have to eat every single day like us. Alligators can go very long periods of time without food. They can shut their bodies down, slow down their metabolism, and they only burn around 200 calories per month. They do not need a lot of food to survive. Out in the wild, those alligators are going long stretches of periods of time without food all the time. And if absolutely needed, an alligator out there in the wild can go anywhere between 2 and 3 years without eating. But not the alligators in this pond. These alligators are very well fed. Once a month, we'll do a big feeding, close to 1,000 pounds of meat. We use beef, chicken, pork, fish, farm-raised rats, and 1,000 pounds of meat once a month. That is more than enough to feed all of the alligators in this pond. Then you're probably wondering about the vultures, the birds on the outside. Those are black vultures. They hang around here, try to scavenge whatever meat or food they can from the alligators. And the reason why the alligators are not going after those birds is because these alligators are very well fed. A well-fed alligator also makes a very lazy alligator. So these alligators know that if it's not a guaranteed meal, they're not going to waste their energy. So going after those birds, those vultures are very smart. So it's going to be very hard for these alligators on the farm to catch one of those vultures. But in the wild, yes, those birds are prey for sure. So once a month, we'll do a big feeding, close to 1,000 pounds of meat. We use beef, chicken, pork, fish, more of the farm-raised rats. And 1,000 pounds of meat once a month, more than enough to feed all of these alligators. One of the worst things that you can ever do to a wild alligator is feed a wild alligator. Alligators have a natural fear of man. But once you feed an alligator, they lose that fear. All it takes is one time. You feed an alligator out in the wild once. Now that alligator is going to start coming up to people looking for food all the time. It is also illegal to feed and harass wild alligators. When reported, those alligators will get removed from their habitat, and they will get put down as well. For your safety and the safety of the wild alligators here in Florida, never feed a wild alligator. And in this pond, we actually take in a lot of those rescued or nuisance alligators. So instead of killing them, sometimes they'll bring them here and we'll give them a second chance right here in this pond. Yes, we are called the Alligator Farm. But we do not harvest alligators here for their meat, for the skin, nothing like that here. Or even the souvenirs in the gift shop, they order that from somewhere else. Our alligators are just for education, research purposes only. Alligators were endangered in 1968. We are one of the 30 alligator farms that helped bring the alligator population back to normal by releasing the majority of the hatchlings that were born in this pond right here. But we're not releasing any more alligators. The majority of the alligators that are born on the farm will go to other zoos, museums, research facilities, places similar to this one here, just for education and research purposes only. And see that reaction they made once the rat hit the water? That's because alligators, their main sense for hunting is their ears, their hearing. So at nighttime when they're hunting, they're using their ears. They also have little motion sensors on their snout, little tiny dots that sense ripples in the water. That's why you never want to be in the water with an alligator. If you're in the water with an alligator, the only thing that the alligator might see is your little head above the water. And the alligator might mistake your tiny little head as a small bird, maybe a small duck. And the alligator will approach you in the water. More than likely, the alligator is going to attack you, take you under the water first, and then drown you. Once under the water, the alligator will finally realize that it cannot swallow your full body. Alligators will never go after anything and try to eat it if the alligator can see how big it is. Human beings are not on the menu for alligators. Alligators are not known man-eaters like some crocodiles. But yes, unfortunately, there have been alligator attacks here in Florida. Being in the water or near the water with an alligator, your chances of getting attacked goes up a lot more. If you're not from Florida, you want to go for a swim. Stick to the pools and the beaches, guys. Leave the lakes, the canals for the alligators. You notice that alligator there brought his head out of the water to swallow that rat. Alligators cannot swallow their food under the water. They have to bring their heads out of the water in order to swallow what they're eating. If the alligator swallows too much water, the alligator can drown. And this is my last rat, guys. I'm going to get it out there into the pond again. But the show is not over yet. My favorite part of the show, if there's anyone here that has any friends or family members that they do not like, I can help you get rid of them now. Just kidding, guys. I want to thank you all for coming out. That does conclude my alligator feeding demonstration. If you enjoyed the show, please feel free to show your appreciation. Thank you all for coming out. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Have a good one.